What is going on, you Marvel fans out there? And yes, once again, Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son. Some say I am the Merc with the mouth, but there's only one Merc with the mouth, and that is aka Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. That's right. I got to see Deadpool and Wolverine, and this is going to be spoilers. And I hope you guys go watch it without being spoiled at the movie theater so we could come back and talk about a lot of the fun things that were happening in this film. And boy, is there a lot. I'm sure there was a lot of clips out there, being a lot of people getting spoiled on a lot of stuff. There was a lot of rumors of some characters coming into this film and some characters not. I think a lot of the rumors was Laura, which was X-23 coming in here, and then the marketing of Deadpool kind of really spoiled a lot, and I was baffled by that. And I think this movie's gonna make a lot of money either way. But how is the movie? How is Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine? I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It's kind of long, especially if you're tired, but I think it has like a 2 hour runtime. That's not including the end credit scene. But I think it's all so much fun, and it's so much fun to bring back a lot of the Fox universe, with the X-Men, but not only the X-Men. I think let's just go straight at a lot of the cameos in here. A lot of people were speculating that Chris Evans as the Human Torch was going to come in here and not as Captain America. I like the little, I like the little fake out. He did have like a little bit of the red and blue going on, and Ryan Reynolds doing Ryan Reynolds things about Chris Evans, and there's a lot of homoerotic kind of jokes. There's a lot of Deadpool fiending for Wolverine, Chris Evans, stating how gorgeous all of them are, and especially how gorgeous he himself is. That's Deadpool. Deadpool in the comics, it's not wokeness Disney does wokeness. Like Disney does a lot of things that kind of like just take away from film or TV. But with Deadpool, you knew what you were gonna get. You know this character from the first two movies, and you've seen a lot of his promotion and stuff. And the character in the comics, he's just like that. He has a hard on for not only Wolverine, Cable, especially Spider Man. So going into this movie and seeing all these kind of jokes that Deadpool was throwing out there, I thought it was hilarious because that's Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds just ceases to like he just owns this role just like Robert Downey Jr. owns Iron Man and Tony Stark. Just like you could say some of your favorite Spider-Mans too. He is just fantastic in this thing, and I would have never. I'm just happy that we got Deadpool 1, and it's just turned into a lot of like a lot of people like Deadpool now, and it because of the first film. So going back to that cameo with Human Torch, I never liked really the Fantastic Four movies that Fox created, but I thought Chris Evans did a good job as was it Johnny, and him coming in here and being the Human Torch again was fantastic. Like it brought a big smile to my face. It's not the. It seems like Chris Evans kind of slimmed down a little bit, or didn't bulk. He still had to bulk up for Cap's role, so it was good to see him back in kind of like the Johnny physique, and then saying those classic words "flame on" and stuff. So I thought it was really really awesome. Another cameo that I loved it so much was bring Wesley Snipes Blade back. I love Blade. Blade to me is the first Marvel, especially R-rated property that really just kind of blew up this whole thing. That really said, okay, there's a chance that a lot of superhero movies can make it in the box office, because that was kind of I was a kid and I saw that in the theater, and I will never forget the opening scene of the bloodbath scene of the the underground party, and Wesley Snipes just owning that role. Wesley Snipes made Blade so freaking cool. So I think a lot of people could appreciate Wesley Snipes coming back, even though a lot of the stories on the last Blade movies and his attitude and everything. It's just good to see him back. Of course, he's older. Of course, he's thinner. But boy, did I love that he was in it. I love seeing an old Blade. Do I want him to have another standalone movie? No, but I think he was perfect in this kind of aspect of coming in and having a celebration of a lot of the Fox property characters. You had Elektra in here, and I think Jennifer Garner does good. I mean, I was never a fan of Daredevil. It would have been cool to see Ben Affleck, but he was mentioned as Daredevil, and I think. I think it's great to at least bring somebody into that from that Daredevil universe. So bringing in Elektra, that was pretty tight, and also the mentioning of Daredevil and Deadpool knowing Daredevil and stuff. That was pretty cool. Another thing too was I've said it when this was announced. A lot of people were like, "What? Why?" I told you guys, Channing Tatum as Gambit is a great choice. Him even being very passionate for the role, he knocked it out of the park. He did the voice fantastic. I mean, he had so many years to, to do that, and he was trying for his own solo movie, and it just never happened. But he was fantastic. He's pretty big. Gambit I just never pictured Gambit that huge. And I think another nitpick, I guess, would be the suit doesn't really look that great on live action, but it's so hard to pull off a common accurate suit of Gambit. But they did the best they can, and I didn't hate it, but it was very noticeable a little bit. But him as the character was fantastic. Great fight scenes. I did hear that the fight scene with Gambit was going to be like extraordinary. That he steals the show. I'm gonna say no, in my opinion. I think he did like I said, I love that fight scene with all of them fighting, especially Blade, Elektra, Laura. But I'm gonna say I didn't think he stole the show. I think the heart of the movie when it came to be, because we're so fond of Logan, and even rewatching Logan and seeing the Logan film again and seeing how much of a masterpiece that is, I still love the acting of Daphne Keane, and as X-23, and she once again coming into this film just for the little scenes. There's the heart of it, even though this is not the same Wolverine. This is not the same Logan. It still pulls in your heartstrings, and there's still something. There's still something there. It doesn't matter which Wolverine version it is or which Laura it is. It just feels like they're intertwined throughout all multiverses, and I loved it, man. I thought when she came on board, when she came into the film, it was boy was it. It's kind of brought more heart to it, because this film is very funny. A lot of freaking great jokes in here. A lot of funny ass jokes. A lot of things that kind of caught me off guard. I think the opening scene of this film, with Deadpool trying to unburying Logan from Logan, and using it's kind of hard to say the word. I'm very bad at words, but his body, his metal, as a weapon was so funny. Especially the joke where he has the claws, and like he's like, and one of the TVA members is like, "You sick fuck," like. That was hilarious. So those are some of my favorite things about the film. I think the one nitpick I'm gonna go into right now, and then I'll continue to talk really good about the film, because I think this film is a lot of fun. And if I had to put it where, is Deadpool 1, where is it at? Where's it at in the rankings, right? I'm putting this above Deadpool 2. I think Deadpool 2 has a lot of good golden moments, and I think a lot of people, when they go into a Deadpool movie, they know what they're gonna get. They're gonna have a lot of fun, and I got that again. I know when I'm gonna get into a Deadpool movie, I'm not looking for the most fantastic story, but I'm looking to have good laughs, and I love this character so much. He's just such an entertaining character. 2 hours of him. Deadpool 2, there was a little struggle of a messy kind of script, but I still enjoyed a lot of the elements to it, especially the X-Force scene. Peter is such a great welcome addition to the Deadpool family. I do think this is better than Deadpool 2. I just watched this, so I'm still wrapping my head around this. Like, Deadpool 1 is a straightforward story, but it's such a great start of Deadpool with Deadpool 1. And like, it's really hard to say that this is better than that one, because I feel like the flow of Deadpool 1 is so much better, and it is focused more on Deadpool. And I think the jokes just land so good in that movie, but I think the action is better than that movie. So I'm gonna say it's a tie right now. For now, I got to watch this again a couple times and see where I'm at on this. But one of my main things is, even though I go into this not looking for something miraculous of a script of a life changing story, I still feel like this story was definitely a quest story, a road trip story. A buddy. You can even say kind of a buddy cop or a buddy kind of story. I just feel like it's kind of missing like a key plot element, like a key kind of like there's something missing about it. There's something. It's very cameo, cameo, cameo. It's in a good way, in a fantastic way. I think they did the cameos just like they did No Way Home in a positive way, bringing in these cameos not just for seconds, but to kind of keep the story going. But I think one of my faults, the faults is that they had a great villain. I think Cassandra was great in this movie. I think the actress did a fantastic job, and Charles' sister, Cassandra Nova. I think it was a great setup. I just feel like script wise, I wish they would have gave her more to do, and I wish they would have incorporated her a little bit more in the script. She's such an omega level mutant and such an overpower being. It's kind of hard. It kind of would have been cooler to bring more cameos in for these guys to kind of rally around Deadpool and fight Cassandra somehow, some way. There is a kind of a big nitpick for me is, Logan, of course, I get it. His story is like, redemption and stuff, and saying that Charles wouldn't want to see his sister die like this, and, would have gave her a chance. And then once they do it, it's the whole kind of funny thing like Magneto. Charles gave Magneto so many chances, and look how many billions of lives have gone because of that choice that Charles has done. And Logan kind of does the same thing with Cassandra, because Cassandra comes back and almost wipes everybody out. So I thought that was kind of I'm on Deadpool's side, like snap the neck, but they couldn't go. You wouldn't have the movie continue if that were to happen, even though the sling blade was literally in her coat, and it could have like, it would have been funny, like Deadpool checking for shit in her coat or something like that. But I think Cassandra did was great. I think she was a great villain. I just wish she had more, and I wish she was more incorporated in this, even though she was incorporated in it. But I just feel like she could have been a more fleshed out villain throughout the story. And I know they wanted to give Logan and Deadpool more screen time, which I think Hugh Jackman does a fantastic job. Once again, he owns this role. He does this role in his sleep. I think he had a lot more, not fun, but I think it was more refreshing for him because he got to play a different kind of Logan. And I think as an actor, that's kind of refreshing to know that, hey, I'm not playing the same Logan from, or Wolverine from the X-Men series and the Logan movie. I will agree with everybody. Logan is his best performance, but don't sleep on Days of Future Past, because I think Days of Future Past is one of the best comic book movies ever made. I think this movie is the most funnest comic book movie I've seen since like Guardians 1. But I just don't think it reaches the level of like the greatest comic book movie ever made. And that's just my opinion. I think, like I said, I still had so much fun in this thing. Dogpool, of course, awesome. Blake Lively, I think, is Lady Deadpool. I can hear her voice. And I think Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Deadpool. Seeing all the Deadpools was awesome, just like from like a comic book strip, and just the wackiness of it all. I think one of my complaints is like we didn't. I wish I would have saw more. I wish I would have saw the more Deadpool universe. But I do like how they kind of all stopped because Peter said no. Peter came and all the Deadpools had a Peter in their universe, because you got to remember he saved Sugar Bear. That was like one of the first. Like he could have saved a lot of the other X Force members, but he went for Sugar Bear first. Uh, it's sad. It's sad that a lot of the Deadpool characters kind of get in the sideline. Like Vanessa, once again, is kind of, I don't want to say fridge, but she's sidelined, and I think a lot of Deadpool fans want to see her as copycat already. I hope if they're moving forward with a lot of these characters, which it's kind of sets up, right? I mean, this is now Logan is in the MCU universe, so is Deadpool and all that stuff. Is Deadpool in the universe, or he's in, I think, Deadpool's universe, because Deadpool did travel back to 616, I believe, to see Happy Hogan, which was a great cameo too. John Favreau. It would have been crazy if Tony was there, but it makes sense. But Laura's there with Wolverine and Blind Al and stuff. So I like the whole Deadpool family, but I would love to see like Vanessa kind of be more of a not a player, but more in the films because I do like love the chemistry between him or Deadpool and Vanessa. So it's kind of sad to see that like after Deadpool 1 she kind of got sidelined a little bit. No Cable, so we'll see if Cable comes back in the future. I think I missed. I don't think they said a Cable and Thanos joke in this one. If I'm correct, I didn't hear no Cable and Thanos joke in this one. The film, oddly enough, it definitely looked and felt like an MCU movie, but it kind of felt like an old Fox property, and not in the sense of bringing a lot of the cameos and a lot of the characters, more of like the look of it, the feel of it. It really felt like kind of like those old 2000 movies sometimes. The It is kind of hard for a lot of people who haven't been keeping up with like Loki season 1, season 2, and you do get these fourth wall breaks and these in like these Disney jokes and all that stuff with Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds, Wade Wilson. You do get those jokes, but like it's so hard because there's so much stuff out there, and the things you need to watch is either the old Fox movies like a Blade and like a Daredevil and stuff to get kind of like who these characters are, or like some of the X-Men movies. And you got to watch Loki. Like Loki, no, like TVA is very much involved in this, and they explain a lot in the film, but I feel like somebody who hasn't watched a lot of the TV shows are kind of going to get lost. So no mention of Kang either. I just like how it kind of was its own thing where it was. I do like the aspect of like the road trip with Wolverine and Deadpool to get to a certain place, and you get more of your shenanigans with Deadpool and Wolverine, especially. So the fights were great. Let's talk about the fights. The fights, oh man, I believe it was Sean Levy. He did a couple movies. He did one movie. I can't remember what it was, but it was with Ryan Reynolds, I believe, that I didn't necessarily like. Oh, it was it like the video game one? Was it shoot, I can't remember. It was the video game one, but then he did another one with Ryan Reynolds and the kid who I think was playing Kidpool. Excuse me, guys. That was fantastic. That was great. I actually really liked that. I liked a lot of the action sequences in there. And Sean Levy, I believe the director's name is, great job, man. Great job with the action. I was kind of worried about it a little bit because I thought the action might have not been as high standards, but it was. It was, like I said, the opening scene was fantastic. The first Deadpool and Wolverine fight was great that we saw in the trailers. And actually, the second fight was awesome. In the little minivan, I was so good. I think the fight with a lot of the Deadpool variants was cool. I just got what they're trying to do with the one shot kind of action sequences. I think I would have liked it more of a Daredevil, first Daredevil hallway fight scene would have been cool. Actually, that would have been really cool if they actually had like a Daredevil kind of spin in the hallway scene. But it was good for what it was. I don't think it kind of matched the level of the other fights, but it was still really, really good. Good to see Laura with the glasses and speaking Spanish when fighting. I think the Blade, the Channing Tatum, and the Elektra fights were... I think that was the only one that was kind of messy, where you kind of wanted like, okay, I want to see all these guys. Is like, I think Blade had a great moments. I would have liked to see Elektra a little bit more with a little bit more of a shining moment. Laura a little bit more with a shining moment. She goes against Juggernaut, which it's not the same actor, I believe, who played Juggernaut in the X-Men films, which is a shame. I would have liked to see that. That would have been cool. I think his name was Tommy something. He's from Rock and Roller too. Not Rock and Roller. Snatch. So, yeah, I think that fight sequences though for every fight scene, it was fantastic. I really did really like the fight scenes, and I really liked Cassandra Novas. I really love that shot when she's getting Logan's claws and just putting them into the ground. The death of Johnny was crazy. I wish the CGI was a little bit better on some aspects of that and a little bit more of the film, but it was good for what it was. And like Cassandra just ripping like a Mortal Kombat style fatality was sweet. It was very icing on the cake. Like I said, man, like I'm like thinking about this movie and the nitpicks I have with it, but overall, I really did enjoy myself and I really had fun with it. It's gonna save the MCU. It's gonna make them a lot of money. It's gonna make them a lot of money. For an R-rated film, yes. What this film did for me was it made me feel like instead of this being Deadpool 3, it made me feel like this is Deadpool and Wolverine Part 1. And I feel like there's more to come later on. I don't know what Kevin Feige has up his sleeve with the character of Deadpool and now Wolverine. I'm sure Hugh Jackman is going to get paid a lot of money. He's going to be probably in Secret Wars. That's the main one, probably with Toby and stuff. It was so sweet seeing him with Blade, with Elektra, back with X-23, Channing Tatum's Gambit. Like the whole time I'm thinking, X-Men animated series, and just him with finally like a kind of a cool ass Gambit. It's not the Gambit he's met in Origins, but it's Channing Tatum's Gambit. Knowing that at one point they were in the same team. Him with just Blade, him with Wesley Snipes was just so great to see. You just kind of never imagined this ever happening. And once again, Marvel just says never say never. That's why they're saying never say never with Marvel crossing over with DC, because you never could say never. I will say though, like I think No Way Home did it better just because I'm biased and I love Spider-Man and they gave me the Tobey Maguire listening to what Peter had to say and saying, great power comes great responsibility line. Like, I will never forget that in my life. And I think that was so powerful for me as a Spider-Man fan. For me as a Deadpool fan, it was just so freaking funny seeing him with team up with Wolverine. Now, obviously, I would love to see him team up with Spider-Man more, but getting that Wolvie pool chemistry, and the chemistry was there. I think Hugh and Ryan, they've been friends for a very long time. I think, and Ryan's been, he's been looking for this duo movie for a very, very long time, and he got it. And I think it met the hype on that aspect. Is the movie flawed? Yes, it is. It's very flawed if you think about it, if you nitpick it, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun. It's a movie that I absolutely enjoyed. I think it's probably one of my favorite Marvel movies that's in a property that's happened in a while, other than, the X-Men 97 animated series. When it comes to like live action, I knew this was going to be a great fun watch, because Deadpool movies are always a great fun watch, even if they're not the greatest story ever told. Like The Greatest Showman. So Deadpool and Wolverine, spoiler wise, it is what you thought you were going to get into. It is Deadpool shenanigans. There's not a lot of meat on the bones, but when there is that dish that's coming out, you're fucking enjoying the hell out of it. And the dessert is just everything that happens that is left on the table at the end, because there is a lot of implications and there's a lot of things that might happen after this. And I probably have a separate video on that one, because where do we go from here, right? I mean, you go to Secret Wars, but what does Logan do now with Deadpool, and how many do we get another solo Deadpool movie after this? There's so much references of the Avengers. You had the Hulk fighting Wolverine, but not really. It was just like a little brief thing where Hulk was there and smashes Deadpool. You had Henry Cavill play Wolverine, which was a cool little cameo. You had Patch Wolverine. You had little tiny accurate Wolverine, which was fucking hilarious. That was great. Henry Cavill looked really good as Wolverine too, by the way. He's humongous. I think a lot of people are ready for like a smaller Wolverine though. And I think we're ready for a proper Cyclops and X-Men. I think Wolverine, I think X-Men 97 proves once again that you don't need Wolverine to be the forefront. You just need the team, and you need a strong character like Cyclops to lead that team, and I'm ready for that in live action. And I'm ready for a Gambit, man. I'm so ready for a Gambit. Gambit's one of my favorite X-Men's of all time. Even like I think a little bit above Deadpool. But Deadpool has been so great to me, so I love Deadpool too. But like I'm ready for a Gambit, whether it be Channing Tatum's or somebody else's version. I'm so ready for a lot of things that might happen with the X-Men. Of course, there's going to be recasting, but they might bring back, because it was hinted they might bring back more of the 20th Century Fox characters. And I'm guessing for Secret Wars, for the next Avenger movies, which everything is going to come to play, and either they go back to their universe or they kind of set one universe and stuff. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it all. I thank Deadpool and Wolverine for giving me a good time, and for hope that MCU might go to. This might be a good step forward. After stumbling a lot, maybe we could put our first foot forward, and start moving again, start jogging again, and start getting the rhythm again. So, Deadpool and Wolverine. If you haven't, I mean, of course you've seen it because you're here at the spoilers. But let me know what was your favorite cameo and what was your favorite part of the film. I'm Dan Mackey, Daniel's son. You can always find more reviews, videos, and also YouTube shorts on my channel. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, weekend, week. Go grab some popcorn, grab a tick, and make sure you have somebody to sit with and watch the movie. Okay? Or by yourself. I usually sit by myself and just watch the movie. But so, thank you guys. Gentlemen, out.